Hey guys, welcome back. It's your favorite Gimp with a Limp, and I'm here with a special treat for you guys. One that you guys have seen a little bit of a preview of. By Stealth and Sea, coming soon to Kickstarter. Actually, I think in about a week or so. It should be February 25th, coming to Kickstarter by DVG Games, and it is designed by one of our favorite designers on the channel, David Thompson. So you know it's going to be a good game. It's going to be right up your alley. He always puts out good stuff, so definitely not worried about it. Again, though, this is a prototype copy, so nothing that you're seeing is guaranteed as like final components, final rules, final anything, okay? So this is just an approximation of what the final product could be. Don't take it as the gospel. Now, if you've watched my little preview video or studied up a little bit about this game, you'll understand that the basic gist is that you have manned torpedoes, or they're really more like very, very small submersibles, called your SLCs, and what their purpose was to scoot into a harbor and attack the enemy shipping, their naval ships, their cargo ships, all that good stuff. So they would try to get through the torpedo netting and the searchlights and the defense ships and the patrol craft and all this other crap that was trying to, protect the harbor. They would sneak in, plant some explosives, destroy a ship, and then try to get out. They would scuttle their little SLC and then escape, hopefully so they could come in with another one and, do the whole thing again. So real cool, original Frogman type missions that these guys were performing, and we get to recreate that here on our map. See, we start off with a few SLCs, and they have to scoot up here, sneak through these nettings that are in these places, and then try to get these ships. They're all worth certain amounts of victory points. We see it's like 3, 5, 3. I think there's a 10 up here, another 10 back over there. There are some, I forget what these are, just cargo ships, I think, over here. These are worth like 1 and 2 points. So nothing that major. The big ones are the ones inside the harbor where it's harder to get into. So yeah, you can get over here and get one of these, but they're easy. They're not worth that many points. So you want to try to get these guys. Like most DVG games, it's got the little turn sequence right there on the board. Pretty easy to follow. You start with your fault check, and it's basically the equipment going bad, right? And especially in our first mission, which we've got this little card that tells us what to do. And it tells us that, sorry, I had a car driving by that had no muffler on it, evidently. It tells us that each SLC begins with 1 surge token. You guys will see that here in a little bit. And then fault check. Perform 2 fault checks for each SLC before beginning the mission. I really hate this card because the fault checks simulate the fact that things can happen to your SLCs, and that's what these little boards over here represent. This one is a scanned copy I printed out because for some reason in the prototype copy they sent me, they put SLC1 on the back of SLC2, so they're all on the same sheet. I couldn't really have them all at the same time, so I had to scan one of them and put it up there. So it's 1, 2, and 3 here. And then at the top, breathing gear, this is your little surge token that's used, and then the wetsuit. You can think of the blue tokens as kind of like your gear being in good order. So if they're there, you're still working. If they're not there, that's bad. Red, obviously, is your warhead. These are your skill checks, okay? And the easy way to understand this is when you have to perform a skill check with one of these skills, whatever number is there is how many dice you have to roll. And whatever, like let's say we're performing a fault check, it'll tell us what number we have to get. So if we had to do it for stamina, we'd roll 2 dice. As long as one of those dice hits the right number, you're good. So however many dice you're rolling, you're only counting your highest die. Also, looking at our little cards, there's a whole bunch of different pilots that can, or would they be called pilots? Submariners, I guess is a better word for it. And each one of these cards will generally have 2 action points, and we'll get into action points here in just a sec. And then they might have like a little bonus, like this one has +1 to its stamina. So you can see, bam, they got 2 stamina there. This guy up here, they've only, this couple, I shouldn't call them a couple. This couple of guys up here, they've got just 1. And then this one over here does have a better chance at doing repairs. And there's a nice big stack of different pilots. I've got this set up for just the first starter mission to show you guys how this is going to work. So you're going to be flopping back and forth between these two sets here as you keep track of your gear and your equipment over here, and then actually move across the battle board over on this side. Over here, we've got 3 yellow tokens. These represent being detected. So if your SLC is detected, you'll place one of these on it and it signifies that they're detected. So you want to try to get undetected. And then these are the patrol craft that will get placed on the board that are trying to track your guys down. On the right side of the board over here is where we have all the harbor defenses listed down. Searchlights, underwater dive team, patrol craft, surfaced and submerged, their movement chart, them conducting their attacks, shore-based mortar, and the anti-torpedo netting. And since this game can be played as kind of like a campaign, there are cards that will replace these, like this underwater dive team, because right now they're not activated. But as you do well and the harbor has more defenses installed, you'll start placing these cards in those places and they'll replace whatever's originally there. So it might make it to where it's going to hit more often or actually give them something else like this, the underwater dive team. And what you see are these numbers that say 7 plus, 10 plus, 11 plus, whatever it is. And it's actually not based on a die roll. It's based on this alert deck. So what you would do is you would draw a card, and if that card is equal to or higher than one of these numbers, then that means whatever it is has hit. This is called your alert deck. And the alert deck gets harder as you go along. There's a card, the highest it goes to is 12 in here, so it is kind of like a 12-sided die, but there are 36 cards, right? So there's 3 sets of 12, I believe, in there. And when you hit a 12, after you get done resolving whatever it is, you pull out the lowest set of cards that's in there, right? So let's say 1 is the lowest set. Alert cards, don't have one available, but we'll grab it here in a sec. Let's say 1 is lowest set. So you'd pull out all the 1 cards, reshuffle the alert deck, and then keep going. And then if you hit a 12 again, you have to pull out the lowest. Well, lowest are going to be 2. And then it's going to be 3, and then it's going to be 4. So as you go on, your chances of having low cards in your alert deck is going to get steadily less and less and less. So this is kind of like a 2d6 system that starts removing some of the options as the game goes on to make it harder because the enemy is more alert to your actions. I think that's a neat way to do it. I like it when they have a card system or a chit system, something a little bit different than just the dice, because those can be adjusted. The cards can be adjusted or the chits can be adjusted on the fly depending on the difficulty you want the game to be. There's another game, not a war game, but Arkham City, Arkham Horror, I forget which one it is. Arkham Horror, I think it is, the card game, and it has a chit pull bag mechanic similar to this, but that's used to determine the difficulty of the game. Check it out if you like other stuff besides just war games. Very, very cool system. It's kind of like having a 16 or 20-sided die. I forget how many tokens you ever put in there, but the game is as difficult as you want it to be. You can adjust it with easier tokens or harder tokens. Very similar concept to this. All right, sorry if you guys might hear a knocking in the background. I always try to do this when it's like quiet and nothing going on. And it's almost like as soon as I sit down and I start trying to record, that's when the neighbors want to come out and play basketball and mow the yards and walk their dogs and stand right in front of the window to my office and scream and carry on bloody murder. I don't get it. They'll be quiet the entire damn day until I try to record. And that's when everybody's got screaming and be loud. I don't know. It drives me nuts. Okay, so we've gone over the basic overview of the game, what we're going to do, okay? We've got to do our little first checks here, our 2 fault checks for each one of ours. God, I hate this. I almost wish I could have it like I did back when I was playing a little bit off camera, because I actually did pretty well, and I know I'm going to do badly. And I don't want my SLCs to be torn apart before I even get started with this, because it'll make it really hard to kind of show you guys all the aspects. I might have to alter it on the fly just a little bit, but this is to kind of signify the fact that these were experimental at the time. So these are some of the first missions. This is prototype equipment, so it's much more likely to have a fault. That's what that card is to kind of represent. So we need to draw 2 fault cards for each one of our guys. So let's see how faults work. All right, we got a little fault deck here. Draw our first card for SLC1, and we see it's for the warhead. Single warhead, circular mounting, inflatable ring, because there are different types of warheads, different types of equipment that will change. And we see it is a repair check. All right, let me zoom in a little bit. Repair check 6, which means we have to roll a 6 on a D6, which is bad. And if we fail, we have to place our warhead disc on there. And then the token can be placed back with a repair action. Okay, so we would have to repair the warhead before we could activate it. So let's perform our check. Go over to my thing. I got my little weighted die. These are the dice that came with the game, but I'm going to use my weighted die because they're awesome. All right, so let's roll. Hopefully we get a 6. Yes! Holy crap, I got a 6. Watch, I got a 6 on this check where I really needed it. Or not where I really needed it, because I could fix the warhead later, and this next one's going to be like ballast or something. Is it? No, it's transmission. Okay. Repairs check 6, same thing. And it seems like most of the repair checks are 5 or 6. All right, so let's roll for it. Got a 4. So unfortunately, we failed that one. And again, I'm rolling 1 die because my repair skill is a 1. So since this is the transmission, we're going to take the transmission token. I'll take the card. I will place near this SLC, and I will put it there. And with the transmission being down, I believe I'm not allowed to make full moves with this. You guys will see a little more of that here when we start playing, but each one of these stops you from doing something, okay? And that's one of the things that I actually talked to the designer about, is including a player aid that lists down the faults. So what they do if the transmission's bad, the ballast, or whatever it is. It's really not that hard to remember, but especially when you're first learning, it'd be nice to have. Okay, so did our first 2 fault checks. Now we got to do 4 more. Let's do the first one for SLC2. Breathing gear, repair check 6. Unfortunately, if we fail this, we lose the surge token for SLC2. And I believe if they don't have a surge token there and they fail that, I believe that makes the crew card go to not ready, to go to their red side. And that's when they stand the chance of being knocked out of the mission. So let's do another skill check for that. Roll for them real quick. See what we get. Got a 3, unfortunately. So yes, that we will discard and they lose this token. Next fault check for them is the wetsuit repair check 5. If I fail this, they lose that token for the game, which could cause them to become not ready, or damn, I'm forgetting the damn word for it. Yeah, it's called stunned. The red side is their stunned side. So let's do this. Come on, I need 5 or above. 5 or above. Big money, big money, big money. No whammy, no whammy, no whammy. 3. You suck. Okay. SLC2 is not starting off well. He has lost both of his equipment tokens. His surge token and his wetsuit token are down. Now, if he takes damage in that direction, he could be like knocked out, like and have to escape. All right, so SL3. Breathing gear as well. Same thing. Roll. See what they get. Got a 5. Could have got a 5 on the last one when I needed that. So they lose their surge token as well. Last one. Wetsuit. Could be. It's like back to back. Watch this. I'm going to need a 5, and I'm not going to get that 5. There's no going to be 5 here. Come on. Oh. Okay. Not good. My guys have started off very much badly. Right, so we'll take the rest of this deck and set it to the side. Pull off his wetsuit token. All right, so they lost all of theirs across the board, but honestly, they're not horribly torn up from what they could have been. Last time I started, neither one of these guys had transmissions, and I think someone else had lost like a ballast tank or something like that, so they couldn't dive. So a little bit of a pain in the butt there, but we can just repair a transmission here and should be good to go. All right, so this might be a quick first video, just depending. I did not anticipate the neighbor kids decided to come out and play, so I apologize. I ain't no kids. I can't really, fault them for it. It's just like all the times, like you've been quiet all day and you pick the one time I'm trying to record to come out. All right, so we did our initial fault checks. Now we're good as far as the fault check phase is concerned. Now we've already done that. But normally when you hit your fault check phase, which is going to be the start of each one of your turns, you will take, and there's going to be a special what would you call it? D3, a 6-sided die, but it'll have 2 1s, 2 2s, 2 3s on it, and you'll use that for your fault check phase normally. So if we were doing a fault check phase, just a normal fault one, we would roll it, and whichever SLC it rolled would just draw 1 card and do a fault check. All right, so you're not going to have every mission where you're doing 6 fault checks right off the bat. This, like I said, is just to signify the prototype nature of the equipment that they're using. Okay, so we're good there. Now we go to our phase, and there's a huge list of actions that everyone can do: moves, full moves, dive, surface, change direction, evade nets, recover, repair, detach warhead, attach warhead, attack from SLC, abort mission, scuttle, and then escape. So you have a whole bunch of things you can do. And the short version of it is you have the 2 actions. You can spend both action points to do one thing as a guaranteed success of completing it, or you can spend 1 action with a chance of succeeding at it. And that's when your other skills like piloting, ops, and stamina repair, all this other stuff will come into play. Because if you try to do a full move, but you only spend the 1 action point, you might not succeed. But if you spend both, then you will succeed. All right, so to start off, my first SLC, I still have a transmission fault. All right, and this is bad. I'm going to spend both action points so that this SLC will be done to take this off, put it back on the transmission, and have it fixed, throw this into the discard pile. If I only wanted to spend 1 action point, I could do so, but I would have to roll and try to pass that with a 6. I could use my search token to try to give myself a bonus reroll or a +1 to my roll, but I want to hold on to that until later on when I actually really need it. So this SLC is done. Now we're going to SLC 2, and neither one of these guys have anything going on just yet. They don't have any faults that I can repair. So I'm thinking I might do a full move with them and try to get them shoved up ahead. Let's see, a full move, I believe, is 4 hexes. No, 3 spaces in the direction it's facing. And if there's a detected token on the SLC, move the detected token with it, and that's if they're surfaced. But if they're submerged, you move them straight ahead 2 spaces, and the detected token would be removed from them. So that's a great way to get them not detected, but you'd have to submerge first. So you could do a single action as a submerge, and then do a single action as a full move to try to get away from being detected. SLC 1, done. What would be my hit number if I wanted to submerge? Submerge. Where's submerge? Dive. It would be a pilot skill of 4. Okay. Do I want to do that? Well, that's a 50% chance of doing it. I would like to move. Okay. Let's try it with SLC 2. We'll roll, see if I can pass the... Well, who's got the... Well, neither one of them have the better pilot skill. So SLC 2 will roll single die. His pilot skill is a 1. See if we can get a 4 or better so he can submerge and then spend his other action point to try to do a full move ahead. And he got the 4. Yay! All right, good deal. So we'll flip him over. And now I will try to do the full move. And that's going to take a pilot of 4 to do it. So I'm going to have to do another roll of a 4 or better to get him to move ahead 2 squares since he is submerged. Got the 5. All right. This will work. So boom, boom. Now we've completed his actions. And again, if he had been detected, would have lost that detection. So that's a key thing. Now you see where your big choices in this game are going to come from. SLC1 only got to do one thing because they focused on the repair. SLC2 got to do 2 things because they split it up, but they only had a chance of succeeding, whereas SLC1 was guaranteed that success. And do I want to push my luck? Yeah, let's push luck. Let's try to submerge here. SLC3, pilot skills also a 1. So we'll roll a die, see if I can get him submerged and moved up as well. No! All right, so we'll roll again for second action. Wait, I don't know if I can do that. I think I can only try an action once. Let me remind myself. Yep, I am correct. Make sure, good thing I remember that. Of course, everything wants to beep right as soon as I start talking again. I did already attempt the submerge. I can only attempt an action once, so I can't try that again. So we'll just try for the full move and see if I can get at least scooted off the board a little bit. And it's all right. It'll give me an extra square if I pass this. Come on, 4 or better. 2 or better is not the answer. So they're putting along and doing nothing. This first turn, we didn't do too well. SLC2 looks like it might be our go-to to try to get in there. And you see, I can push straight along this path all the way up to here and then try to cut in through that direction. But it will cost me points to change their direction. None of these guys or the patrol ships have directions. Only mine have directions that I have to worry about. All right, so let's go to the harbor defense phase, see if we can burn through this real quick. We'll start with our searchlights. And you see the searchlights say 10 plus if it's surfaced, or 11 plus if it's submerged. So SLC1, is he detected since he surfaced? No, he is not. Slide that car out of the way. SLC2, also not detected. SLC3, not detected. We're good. Now, underwater dive team doesn't exist yet. Patrol craft response. And you see the numbers change depending on the situation. If they're surfaced, you'll use these. If they're submerged, you'll use these. If they're surfaced and detected, if they're surfaced and in the harbor, which is in this zone up here, if they're surfaced, detected, and in the harbor, you use this. So you have to look between the two. SLC 1 and 3 are going to be using this chart, while SLC 2 will be using this one. A little bit harder to detect. So SLC 1, let's draw a card. We need a 9 or above for him to be detected since he's only surfaced. We're good. And SLC 3, I'll go ahead and draw for him since that's higher on the board. Is he? Oh, he is detected. Horrible. Not good. Okay, so since he got detected by a patrol craft, a detected marker is placed on him, and the lowest number patrol craft is placed in front of his location, and it is placed on its exhausted side. So it will not be placed on the board and move and attack all in the same turn. It'll be placed, and then following, it'll try to do that. So a good thing for me on the next turn would be to try to get this guy submerged and moved so he no longer detects me. All right, that takes care of him. Let's go for our submerged, and it's going to be a 10 or higher to... All right, and it's going to be a 10 or higher to try to detect him. Nope, that is a 7. Good to go. All right, so we're not starting off horrible. Not starting off great there. Nothing else there. We don't have any other patrol craft to worry about moving because the only one that's on the board is exhausted. No attack, no shore-based mortar, and this is the anti-torpedo netting. We don't have to worry about that yet because that will come into play when we try to scoot through those. All right, so the last phase to worry about, we've completed our harbor defense, is our cleanup phase. You know, basic stuff. We would remove any patrol craft that are not within at least 4 hexes of a or SLC rather. This guy, he's right within them, so he's not going to be removed. We're going to ready any exhausted patrol craft, so he's readied and will be ready to go on the next one. We would remove detected tokens from any submerged SLCs. Unfortunately, this guy's still surfaced. Had he actually succeeded in being submerged, then I could take that token off and he would have a better chance of getting away. But we'll try that on the next one. I can drop him down and hope for the best. And we also advance our time marker. So we move this up right there. And that's it. We completed the first round of our attempt to take out this harbor. All right, so we'll pause here. We'll pick up on the next round and try to speed things up a little bit and see if we can accomplish our goal of getting in here and actually blowing something up before I lose all of my SLCs. If you guys have any questions or concerns, questions about the Kickstarter or anything like that, feel free to put them down below and I will answer them if I can and find you answers if I can't. All right, you guys take care. I'll catch you in the next one.